Okay, so I'm going to talk to women who are going through divorce and women who are divorced, newly divorced, freshly divorced, and trying to build a business. Coming from someone who is divorced and having to navigate oneself, learn how to grow up and become the woman that I'm supposed to be because I'm a mother and I have to take care of myself, and this is my life. I want to help you get it together. Okay, so I'm a business coach and I absolutely love what I do. I'm 41 years old, mother of one, been married twice, and I'm telling you that the journey is well worth it if you trust yourself. You got to learn how to do that. And I don't think a lot of women are talking about that as much as I think we need to talk about that, because this is a real thing. Okay, it's a real thing. And I want to come from the space of understanding what arrested development and emotional unregulation means. And so I'm going to start with this. If you see me looking to the side, I have my notes. I don't do teleprompters, so please do not suggest, because I build my business my own way. Hallelujah. All right, here we go. Arrested development. It refers to a psychological condition where an individual remains at an emotional or psychological state of development that is less mature than their chronological age. So basically, a 40-year-old acting as if she's 16. We say that a lot, okay? And I do believe that marriage, religion also stunts the emotions of women and their maturity level, their ability to creatively and critically think and trust themselves. I know this is going to hit hard for a lot of women, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I've been through it too, and I literally had to pull myself up. I've been a kept woman before, which means a woman that, my then spouse would let me stay home and, take care of the baby, or, work my little business at that time. And I just creatively contributed. That was my thing, right? But now that I found myself alone, which I don't regret at all. Hallelujah. And namaste. I had to learn how to grow up. And there were certain things that I saw myself doing, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is going on? We see a lot of people right now that's creating content around adulting, especially millennials, adulting, not wanting to be a mother, not wanting to do this, not wanting to work. And a lot of these people are going exactly through that right now, arrested development. That's exactly what it is. People who are avoiding growing up and critically thinking for themselves are going to have a very hard time. We're now in the era, in the age of AI, the age of Aquarius, the age of intelligence, and people got to learn how to grow up. That's just what it is. Period. In the story, you got to learn how to lead yourself, because the world is not going to teach you. So what are you going to do? You're in the world, but not of it. You got to learn how to self-regulate. Here we go. Here are a couple of signs. I'm going to name 5 of them. Okay, so I'm naming 5 signs. I'm going to try to go through this real quick. But number 1 is difficulty managing your emotions. So one of the things we see all the time from women is that when they're trying to build a business, and I've been coaching women full time for 5 years, almost 5 years, but I've been coaching period for a decade. So I know the ins and outs of women. I've studied the mind. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in counseling psychology, been a therapist, worked in HR for 10 years, and here I am coaching, honey. Been there, done there, got the postcard. But this is the thing, difficulty with managing emotions. So you will see intense emotional reactions, like women who yell and spur out, like even in the comment section, when you see all this extra, men too, men do the same thing, but I'm addressing women, because women, we got to get it together, because the men are going to follow suit, hopefully, if they see us regulating ourselves. And I think that is starting to happen. Like some men are starting to wake up. But for sure, women have to stop with the intense, and I get it. And I know that you want to sound off. You want to sound the alarm. You want everybody to know that you're mad. But you've got to hold yourself. You've got to hold yourself and your reactions. And sometimes it's okay to let lash out. Let me throw that out there, because, some things I'll be okay with. Like if it's to defend your child, don't come for my baby that, because you're going to see a whole nother J. But anyway, we're going to keep on going. I think that this is the thing, though. When you are struggling to cope with your stress, it can lead to anxiety and depression. Okay, so when we think about that, right, when we think about the anxiety and depression, we see that 30% of divorced women may experience those symptoms of anxiety and depression. And that goes from the challenges that women face when they step out and they're by themselves, especially when they have children, especially when they have kids. Because now, if you went into the marriage and you didn't have any children, and you're coming out the marriage with 1, 2, 3, 5 kids, 7 kids, or whatever, and you're like, what the heck? Like, how am I going to take care of you? You got to get to know yourself, as well as understand how to take care of yourself, as well as taking care of other children, your children, I mean. And then having to learn how to communicate with the other parent. That's a whole lot of stuff. That's a whole nother video. And we're going to talk about that. But when we talk about business, this is exactly what I see. And this is not in all cases. So I want to make sure that's clear. This is not everybody, but some of the women that I come in contact with, not even just as clients, but women in general when I'm having conversations with them. So that's number one. So difficulty with managing emotions. Number two, dependency. Oh, this is really big. Some women will be so nervous about, learning how to depend on themselves and learning how to trust themselves. They will lean so heavy on some emotional support and validation for other people, like their parents. And a lot of times women will go back to their parents. I did the same thing because that's all I knew. Like, I didn't know how to take care of myself. I've lived alone before, in between, like because I've been married twice. Honey. We ain't gonna even go there. Because, But I will say I lived on my own just for a little bit. And then after my second divorce, I lived by myself, but I had a job. But once I lost the job, guess what I did? I went back home. I didn't know how to self-regulate. And I was in my early 30s at the time. But I tell women, like, my default was I need somebody to help me. My default was I need somebody to take care of me. And if you're not careful, you will also be so dependent on people to manage you because you don't know how to manage yourself. And much of that is because you don't, number one, know how to manage your own emotions. Then number two, you don't trust yourself to make decisions that are in your own best interest because you are used to outsourcing your decision making and outsourcing your emotional regulation. You depended on somebody else to regulate your own emotions, and you've never learned how to do it yourself. And I think that this is one of the reasons why women find it so hard to decenter men, especially when the propaganda has been centered on decenter men. Some women are just absolutely charged and conditioned to rely and depend on men because that was always, like, especially if you had a daddy in the home. I had a daddy in the home. So my daddy used to tell us, don't touch the trash, don't touch the door. And so I was one of them women where y'all hate to see me coming, but I was standing at the door and waiting on a man to open up the car door for me. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it because that was just how I was raised, right? I was raised that way. And so I didn't know no other way. But, I mean, the men will follow suit. I've never had an instance where a man didn't do that for me, thank goodness. But I'm just saying that these are things that happen, right? Women are conditioned to outsource their thinking power to men. Is this hitting on anybody? That's why you got a lot of women, especially millennials, Gen X, they've been conditioned to lean and depend on the masculine. You know? Okay. This is good. Is this resonating? Does this make sense for you? Comment below. Let me know what you think. Unfulfilled potential is the next thing. That's number 3. So number 3, feeling stuck or unmotivated on your personal goals because everything was capped and what is it called? It was packaged in that marriage, right? In that relationship that you were in. Even if you weren't married to them, it was a long committed relationship. And I should have prefaced by saying that I am for marriage. I support marriage. I support the institution of marriage only if it's healthy. I don't like poor marriages. I don't like struggle bus marriages. Don't come for me. Y'all already know. I got trigger fingers, baby. I can get you with my Let me keep going. So, avoiding responsibilities. Ooh, that's big right there. Avoiding responsibilities. This is coming from somebody who lived with my parents. And when I started my business this time around, I lived with my parents, even making or generating the first $200,000 in my business in 2021. I was living in my parents' house when that happened. Okay. So I just, it was something scary about moving out on my own and having to depend on myself to settle and stabilize myself and secure myself with a baby. I was so scared of their responsibility. I was so nervous about that. I was so nervous about taking care of myself. But I knew that the time was going to come when I had to do that. And I had to lean and depend on not only myself, but in God as well. I'm not religious, but I'm definitely spiritual in this fact that I do believe that there is a God. And I believe that there is a supernatural force that's bigger than me that has their eye on me always to navigate me in where I'm supposed to go. Okay. So, but I had to learn how to lean into being responsible. And that came along with learning myself. I knew how to pay bills. I knew all about credit, knew all about that. Great coaching. You know, I am a great coach. But when it came down to personal responsibilities and personal accountability, I used to struggle in that area, but I had to learn. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I learned how to do that. And so that's number 3. Number 4, struggling with relationships. Oh my God, struggling relationships. So I'm gonna tell all of y'all that's so eager to date, calm yourself down. You got a hot tail right now. Your tail is hot, honey. That's all it is. And you don't know how to take care of yourself. Y'all got to calm down. Because I was the same way. I was like, oh, I'm ready to start dating. And then you get out there and you're like, girl, what kind of man is out here? What is this? What is this? This dating pool is ugly. But I'm telling you, calm yourself down, learn how to secure yourself. Because once you learn how to do that, you can make better decisions when it pertains to relationships. You will be surprised at how many women go after relationships based on need instead of based on joy and desire. So it is best that you learn how to skill up, sales skills, learn how to market, learn how to manage your business, manage your household, get a routine together, right? Learn how to manage your time and manage your energy. Get out of the way of other people that want to kind of distract you. Get those people out of your vicinity and your wheelhouse and your ecosystem. Get them out of the way. You need to focus on learning how to take care of yourself. That's very, very important. So that was 4, right? So number 5. Oof. This one is good. Avoidance of growth opportunities. Mm-mm. I want to grow up, coach. Coach, I can't. I got to heal first. That is a little girl inside of you that does not want to grow up. That is a little girl inside of you that does not want the inner mother to take over. She's having a temper tantrum because to be grown means to be responsible. And a lot of women don't want to do that, baby. That's why they have such a hard time with releasing even unhealthy relationships. Unhealthy relationships. And sometimes this is the reason why a lot of women stay in unhealthy relationships, because that means that they got to start over. They got to now lean and depend on themselves because they've never done it before. And it's scary to rely on the unknown and to trust that she can do it on her own. That's a lot of pressure, especially now with inflation and recession and all this port stuff going on. Anyway, child, holding on to past grievances, which is still in that number 4, the past grievances and resentment that you had from that previous relationship. Now, ain't no wrong with, having a little bit of resentment. I think it's okay to have a little bit. Ain't no wrong with that. Sometimes you have to be like, listen, you got to learn how to communicate with that ex. You got to learn how to go through with that ex and establish boundaries and what you ain't going to do. So you have to learn things all over again and learn how to take care of yourself. But when it comes down to growth, a lot of women avoid skills. They avoid learning because they're scared they're going to fail. They're scared they're going to let themselves down. They're scared that they're going to go broke. They're going to lose their house. They're going to lose their cars. That their ex is going to try to come for their money. They're going to, and a lot of women don't even make money in their marriages or after divorce because they're afraid that the child support is going to go down when the child support is literally Skittles. The child support payments are literally gum. Girl, you can make that 6 times, 10 times over in a day. Anyway, we're moving on. Number 5. Difficulty in seeking support. Woo! Y'all got this bad. We got this real bad. I can't seek help. They go quiet. And a lot of women that struggle with this, they are always looking for the adult in the room. They're always looking for the grown up in the space that they're in. And that's why many times a lot of women go back home. They go back to parents. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you need to do for yourself. And a lot of women do that too because they need to get a chance to wrap their head around what happened to them. Because during the divorce process, you're Miss Baddie, right? You're trying to keep a stoic attitude. You don't know what the heck is coming your way with attorneys and court and all this kind of stuff. And then custody if you have children and assets if you have houses and all this kind of stuff. But then when you are divorced or when you're done, you move back home if you can, if you have that ability to. That's when it's time for you to grieve the relationship. And I think that is appropriate. You need time to grieve. Some women say, well, I ain't grieving. I don't have to grieve. Like, it's okay to cry about it because you went in thinking one thing and you came out another way, and you weren't expecting, like when you went in, you thinking like forever and ever and ever with the love of your life, and it turned out to be the nightmare of all lives. Okay? So you can give yourself that, that way, that path. Like, you need to grieve. I think it's worth it. You need to cry. However, at some point, you can be mad. There's going to be some times where you're going to have spurts of being upset. But at the end of the day, it's time for you to dust yourself off and learn how to get back out there, because now it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up. And you've got to stop leaning into, I can do it by myself and I don't want to bother people because I've asked people before and they let me down. But Who did you ask to lean into this new identity that you are creating for yourself? Because even after the relationship is done, the woman now has to repair herself. And now she gets to, this is something that I think you're going to find so much hope in, is that now you get a chance to build brick by brick what you want your ideal life to look like as a woman at this point. Not just as a mom, not just as an aunt, not just as a sister, not just as a friend, but as a woman. What do you want as a woman? And I think that is one of the most beautiful parts about the recovery process, is that now you get a chance to learn what you want and actually step into that new life. And when it's talking about business, you actually get a chance to evolve into this butterfly, into this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful butterfly. You've been a caterpillar for so long, and now you went into a cocoon so that you can learn some things about yourself that you didn't know before, and some things about the past that you didn't know before, and you get a chance to regroup and restart. And because of that, you get a chance to start anew. You get a chance to start all the way over. So with that being said, if this resonates with you, I definitely want you to sound off in the comment section below and let me know some things that really stood out to you in this video. Are there some things that you want me to dig more into? I'll be happy to do that. Y'all know YouTube is becoming my main platform, child. And I want to be able to teach with a methodical process and letting you be able to kind of flush it out, because I don't think a lot of people talk about the psycho-emotional part of building a business and all of the life stages and all of the shifts that you go through in order to recover and to repair yourself. And you're learning yourself at the same time. You're learning so many different things about yourself. So definitely let me know. Also, if you would like to get clear about your business and get a strategy for your business, book a laser strategy session in the comment section description box below, and let's get on track for the new year. In the next 12 months, let's get clear about your company. All right. Love y'all so much. And until next time, Coach J, have a good one.